Two. Good morning and welcome to the fifth quarter of Northern Arizona. My name is Danny Neal and I will be your host for the evening or for the morning, should I say. I'm already halfway through the day, but I'm sure my co-host will have something to say about that. So that's a great leeway to bring in, the man that they simply call the coach of Northern Arizona, Mr. Tyrone Johnson. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Hey, man, I messed up already, man. That go my perfect show.
Coach, we're gonna give you a pass on that one this morning. We're gonna give you a pass.
You know I've been having a bad day already.
I have, and so I'm not gonna make it any worse by saying anything smart. You know what I mean? I'm gonna encourage you so that we can have a great show.
I appreciate that, man. You know, you talked about Crystal was here last week, and talked about, we got a woosah and breathe and take care and everything be all right.
That's right.
Everything all right, Coach.
Everything all right. Everything all right.
You
made your second mistake of the show.
I know, but I said yes. This is going to be a tough one, man. Don't be over here correcting me every time I do something. And today, don't be out here with all the more big words that don't nobody know what you're talking about. Right?
Hey, we're going to have you enroll in an English class or something, because that was just a simple, basic word, man. That wasn't no big word.
Hey, look. Okay, I ain't gonna be calling no college boy.
And see, there you go.
Hey, man. Well, anyway, Coach, good morning, man.
Good morning.
And for y'all that's out there that don't know, this is a typical morning. I come in and before he even say good morning, he starts something. I go to work every morning to do my job.
Late?
I get there. I'm not late every morning.
Yeah.
Debatable. Well, anyway, when I get there, I do my job.
Halfway. He Coach, come in, he do his job, but the thing of it is, Coach, when you work, you work. You're hard work. Right. There's just some of the minor things that you need to pay attention to detail. Being the coach yourself, that's something that you tell players all the time. Pay attention to detail. Right. When you come in and the signs say closed, and when you come in, we're open, just flip the sign. When the kids come in for lunch and the lights are out in the facility, just go turn the lights on. Just the little things, Coach. You do little things and then big things happen.
Well, if you wouldn't start trouble with me the first time I come to work, I could turn on, turn the sign around. I could turn on the lights for the kids. All you see is the donuts that I have in my hand, and you just want to be eating the donuts to start. But anyway, I appreciate that, and the lights will be on Monday morning, I promise you.
Okay.
We're going to be like Motel 6. The lights going to stay on.
Well, we got to be fiscally responsible, so we ain't going to keep them on.
Oh, okay. I don't want to get you in trouble. Hey, man, but let's talk a little sports. Man. The Suns went through.
The Suns did go through.
Yeah, man. Did you think they was going to do it?
I did, because even without Devin Booker this year in the regular season, they were able to put together wins. Without Chris Paul, they were able to put together wins. And so they've proven that they have a nucleus and they have people that can step up and that they are truly, one of the strongest teams in the NBA. And so I really did feel that they would be able to move on. Even if Devin Booker didn't come back last night. I mean, he gave him some good moments last night, obviously, but I just felt that they could close it out and move on to the next round.
It looks like they got Dallas, man. I don't know much about Dallas. I know Dirk ain't with them no more. I'm showing my age a little bit. I know Dirk ain't with them no more. But I think that we can finally say that the Suns are legit. The Suns are bona fide, and we ain't been able to say that for a long, long time.
Well, you were able to say it last year. I mean, didn't they get to the finals?
Yeah, I'm just talking about this shit last year, man. See, this is how problems start, man. You know what I'm talking about.
No, the Suns are definitely legit. I mean, for longtime NBA fans, like him or not, you want to see Chris Paul complete the task. I mean, he's been on some great teams. He's been close. And so, you hope that he can complete the task and get that NBA championship and then be able to, have that on his resume when he retires.
I think he gets that championship that certifies that Hall of Fame for him. That really puts the stamp on that Hall of Fame for him. And I think the players want it as bad for him. They want it for him more than they want it for themselves right now.
Right.
And that's the type of leader he is, man. And so I'm rooting for him. I've always been a Suns fan. Not really.
Come on, man. Don't tell the people. Come on, man.
Actually, I can't. Because me, you, and Sean Mulaney are probably the only 3 Spurs fans in Flagstaff. And,
well, you just got your Spurs fan license revoked by coming on the air saying you're a Suns fan. So
I'm rooting.
You can put that down to 2 people, me and Sean Mulaney. You go get with the Suns then.
Hey, man, I'm rooting for the Suns now, and you got to root for the state team. Yes, I'm a Spurs fan. I've always been a Spurs fan. You know, they're the team that's always been that class act. You know, read about them in police law and things like that. So I've always been a Spurs fan, but you got to root for the Suns. Yeah. And the Spurs are out.
Yeah, so at this juncture, then it's okay to root for the Suns. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm a Suns fan, but I do want to see them do well and bring home the title.
So what you're saying is that's the 3rd time I misspoke?
Hey, you said tell on yourself. Like I say. Look, man, I know we got a great guest on today, but before we get to that, Coach, I want to, if you don't mind, I want to give a couple quick shout outs to just the spring sports here in Northern Arizona. Beach volleyball just completed. I want to say it was on Thursday, maybe. So that could have been yesterday, right? If it was Thursday, or it could have been Wednesday.
Yes. Yesterday, I think they played Wednesday. They played for a championship on Wednesday.
But they did play for a championship, and they ran into South Point Catholic. And so, but just congratulations to Coach Beth Haglin and the Lady Eagles for their beach volleyball state championship runner-up. They battled, and South Point Catholic is legit. They back-to-back state champions. And so just want to make sure we give a shout out to them. Then also on the baseball side, we have Flag High, they're still in it, and guess who they get to face in the state tournament? South Point Catholic. And so it's been something with Flag and South Point throughout this year. And then in softball, just definitely want to give a shout out and best of luck. Coco, they're number 5 seed, so they didn't have to do the play-in tournament. They get to host the game, and I believe they start tomorrow, but they get to host something with Flag and South Point throughout this year. And then in softball, Flag High, just definitely want to give a 10 seed. They travel to number 7, Mingus, and that should be an interesting matchup for the simple fact that they split in the regular season. And so just a great opportunity for them as well. And, you know, just shout out to the GCR, because in baseball, they have 5 teams out of 16 teams represented. And in softball, they have 5 teams out of 16 teams represented. And so that's huge. And then, of course, we want to just say congratulations to everybody as far as tennis went this year. Flag qualified. I believe we had bases qualify on the girls' side. And anybody that I'm missing, I'm quite sure our guests can give us the stats and give us, you know, the rundown and say, hey, you missed this.
Right.
But the point is, you know, we definitely want to make sure that we're acknowledging the greatness of the spring sports and wishing everybody good luck for those that still have competitions to come. I know track and field will be up, like not this weekend, but next weekend. The pairings for beach volleyball, they're coming up next week. Tennis individuals all coming up. So just want to give them a shout out and wish them the best of luck coming up.
Man, you did your homework this morning, man. you were on it. But Coach, I agree with you 100% on that. There's these young athletes out here really putting in good work and doing some big things. It's amazing how we meet South Point Catholic in almost every time we get to the championship, but the fact is we're getting there. Mm-hmm. And pretty soon, we'll take care of business, regardless whether it's softball, basketball, baseball, track. You know, obviously there's some great athletes coming through, putting in work, and we also want you to flex a little bit. You had a little 7th and 8th grade team this weekend that went down to Phoenix and put in some work, went 4-0 and won the championship in a nice little tournament this weekend. So kudos to you one more time, Coach. So every level from middle school all the way up through high school, but we'll talk about middle school later, but middle school all the way up through high school, man, you're doing big things for these youth, man.
Well, I appreciate it, Coach. And let's come back to that at the end, and we can talk a little bit about that and tell everybody a little bit about the organization and just where we have athletes coming from that participate in our organization. But we'll get to that at the end.
I like that. And Coach, we also want to take a moment to send our thoughts and prayers out to the Baca family with their loss. A young man that we both know, coached did things, Anthony Baca, lost his battle with cancer. And he's been someone in our community and as the family. And we just want to send our thoughts and prayers out to the Baca family.
Yeah, most definitely. Thoughts and prayers go out to the Baca family. And, we will continue to just pray for strength and understanding and just, it's a situation like that. You can always ask why, but, just celebrate his life and, the legacy that he made. And then, just pray for strength for his family and, just guidance for the kids as they move forward and his wife.
Right. So, well, that's good, man. And once again, I have to give you kudos on the way that you did your homework this morning, man. You put in work, man. I know I talked to you earlier. You're like, leave me alone, man. I'm trying to do my homework. I thought all you was going to do is get in here and talk. I didn't know you had stats and all that. But that's a great... They were stats, man. But that's a great segue. How do you say that? Somewhere I'm hungry, man. To our guest today, and a guy that we both know, and since you the guy that likes to bring in the guests, we're gonna let you bring in our guest today.
Good morning. Our guest today is none other than Mr. Flag-Coco himself, somebody who I've had the pleasure of knowing for some, I don't know how many years now, but it's been a few years now since meeting him and knowing him and just getting to be interviewed by him and working with him and just in awe and just kind of marveled at some of the work that he does,
right.
The depth that he goes, the things that he digs up, and then the relevance that he puts into the Flag-Coco rivalry, but not only that, but the athletes and everything that Northern Arizona and Flagstaff is about. So we want to bring in none other than our guest, Russel Woods.
Thank you, Tyrone. I appreciate that. I think it was 2015 where I first met you and Danny right there at the rec center, and we had a good talk for about 2 hours, and you guys felt me out, and I appreciated you welcoming me, and I hope I've reciprocated.
Oh, that you definitely have. And it's definitely been a pleasure just, again, not only meeting you, but seeing you and following the work that you do. And so, just excited to get this conversation underway.
Right. And, I think a lot of people don't know how much Russel does by himself and how much Russel has done by himself. This is something that's been needed in Flagstaff for years. Nobody wanted to put it into work. This is work. And so, Russel, once again, welcome, man. Welcome. You are a special guest.
I thank you for that. This is always going to be a one-man organization. I've asked if kids or others wanted to write for the magazine that I do or the website, and I was here. Yeah, sure, I'll do that. And then when push comes to shove, crickets. So this is always going to be my deal. This is going to live and die with me, and this is probably something I'll be doing on one level or another until I'm in the dirt.
And so with that being a one-man show, tell us what it is exactly that you do.
Whenever someone asks me that, the first thing that pops out of my mouth is I celebrate the best high school rivalry in Arizona. And with that very narrow focus, I've learned over the years that there's quite a bit I can do. I started just talking about the football rivalry because growing up in the 70s and 80s, that was one of the big items on the athletic calendar. And it was in the Sky Dome when it was brand new, and both the Eagles and the Panthers were at the top of the AA standings and competing for championships year in, year out. And that dome, when it sat 14,000, was packed for those games. And they were good games too. We may never get back to that, partly because the athletic interests are so diffused now. Kids have more choices. Football in Flagstaff wasn't quite as maniacal as it was in the 80s. In the 80s, you had Stan Gill, you had David Winsley, you had players that were going regularly to Division I, and they were good, and they were getting national attention. And it may never get to that, but I'm hoping it's still something that's community relevant, still something that's part of our DNA. Something that we're always talking about. If you meet somebody from Flagstaff in another town, that first question is always Coconino or Flag High.
Right.
As long as we keep that going, and then we talk about, hey, Eagles won this year, or Coconino won this year, and it just spirals into a little bit of smack chat, and it's always going to be something that you hold over the other guy's head. I graduated from Coconino in 1987. That 1986 team, we had injuries and we underachieved, and Flag High was supposed to smoke us right out of the building, and we beat them 28-9, and we never let them live it down.
You see how you are, and you ain't letting them live it down now. You had to bring that up, Russell.
You gave me the opening. I generally don't play partisan. I try to be as neutral as possible. If you ever see me at a game, I'm sitting with the Coconino folks and the Flag High folks, or I'm in the. I try to balance it out. And these days, I try to be as balanced as I can on Facebook. But when Tyrone's Lady Eagles were on their run to the championship game, I had nothing but Lady Eagles. When Coconino football was the last couple of years during the fall, it's a lot of Coconino football because they're the ones that are generating the conversation. But overall, it evens out.
So, Russell, as a young man growing up here in Flagstaff, were you involved in sports yourself?
I played. I wouldn't say I was a remarkable athlete. I played football and basketball, and I wrestled a little bit from 5th grade on through my varsity years. I played in a lot of basketball leagues, even right there at the rec center when I was in 7th grade. I played offensive, defensive line. Always played forward in basketball. Did leprechaun wrestling when I was a little kid, when Dave Penny was running the show. My junior year when I was at Coconino, I was a bit of a knucklehead. I got it in my head that when I got to varsity, I didn't have to sit on the bench. That if I wasn't going to start or I wasn't going to play, I just wasn't going to play at all. So I sat out my junior year of football. And that was, of course, a mistake because when I came out for my senior year, I still sat on the bench. So I wasn't as much as I wanted to think I was all that, I wasn't all that.
Yeah.
And one thing about that senior year, the rivalry game I was talking about, I didn't play in it, even though we were up by 3 scores and we were coasting in the 4th quarter. Ole didn't let me in, and he just didn't. And on one hand, I was really bummed about it, but by the same token, I really got to absorb the atmosphere. I got to listen to the band. I got to see the packed stands. I got to, Bubba Ganner was standing next to me most of the game and talking to him. the cheerleaders, the bands. It let me really feel what the rivalry was about. The game is the centerpiece, and it always will be, and it's always a good game. But it's everything else that goes around it that makes it something special.
Right.
Yeah, and I know you feel it at the basketball games when you've got both student sections going back and forth at each other, and it's loud at either gym, and everybody's into it. Those are the things the game is, well, it's not secondary, but it's the centerpiece, and you see everything around it, and that's what I've tried to soak in the 11 years that I've been doing this. I don't take pictures. I'm not good at it. I'm not going to invest thousands of dollars to do this, but we've got some really good photographers, and I like to put their galleries on the Facebook page, and it puts pictures to the words that I write.
Right. And you also have an award that you established.
I've got 2 sets of awards. At the end of the rivalry football game, I've got the Bill Epperson and the John Ply Awards,
right,
which we've worked it out. So while the kids are shaking hands right after the game, we've already got our winners. They're already announced. We're already putting plaques in their hands. So that's something we've worked out. But in a few weeks, we've got the 7th annual FlagCoco Spirit Awards. I need to get together with Janine Brandell and Eric Fries and work out who the winners are. I'm going to have my lists that I present them, and then we discuss it. And as soon as I alert the winners, I make a big announcement. But I can announce it's going to be, the dinner's going to be May 17th at Grand Canyon Brewery.
Well, good. So go, Coach.
Yeah, no. So what's one of the most interesting facts or stat lines that you've found that you've published or that you've yet to publish?
I got a handful here. I made a big deal about Grace Linez, the 1,000 points and 1,000 kills. The fact that she did it is an amazing feat in and of itself. But the surprising thing is that she was the first to do it. When I was doing the research for it, fortunately the AIA has a list of every player that's got 1,000 kills. So from that list, I was able to research everyone as to what they did for basketball. Most of them didn't play a second sport, and I get that we live in an era where kids more and more stick to one sport, and they play it year round with their club teams and then with their high school teams. Excuse me. And the multi-sport, excuse me, been fighting this for a month now. The multi-sport athlete isn't dead, it's just rare. So Grace is an oddity. It's a great oddity to have. But that's surprising simply because she was the first to do it.
The first in the whole state of Arizona.
In the history of Arizona, well, it may have happened before 2006 because that's when the AI set up their rules a little different, and everything before that they erased from the record books. So who knows what happened before then? But no, she is the first confirmed, and I made sure I used the word confirmed.
Right.
And I double checked with the AIA. I did my own research, and nobody has shown evidence to contradict it. So she is the first, and everybody runs with it. And every time someone says it, in the back of my head, I think, they're talking about something I did, and I take pride in that.
Absolutely.
Your personality. But we're running out of time. So before we go out of time, what kind of stats do you have on Coach Johnson?
Well,
give me some stats on the coach.
Over his illustrious 16-year career.
Right.
I've got his totals at 339 wins, 120 losses, 739 winning percentage. He's been to 8 Final Fours. In 16 seasons, he's made the playoffs 15 times. He's only had 2 losing seasons in that time.
Really? Well, Coach, I think that's pretty impressive for you, man. What happened? How did you lose them 120 games? Was it coaching? What, man?
It's probably my assistant coach or my JV coach. That's probably what it was.
Hey, but Russell.
Yes, sir.
He coaches incredible stats. He's done some incredible things, man. But
here we go.
This past Tuesday, after we get through coaching high school ball, we kind of relax. I go coach at Chenal Middle School boys. He goes coaching the Mims boys. This Tuesday, we happen to play against each other.
Okay.
Now, he's got a good team. I've got a decent team. And he's got all these wins and state, everything. He went and played semi-pro basketball. I beat him Tuesday. Do you know he didn't come to work Wednesday? All these wins, he lose a junior high game, and it almost put him out. He couldn't even come to work Wednesday, man.
Russell, I play for bread and meat. If I don't win, I don't eat.
Well, he was hungry because he didn't show up. He was hungry. He didn't show up to work.
No,
I had donuts.
If you're talking about losses, you're going to add more because we haven't won in middle school basketball yet. We play today and we're hoping to change that, but we haven't won yet. And this guy, you know, the sportsman that he is, everybody knows him as a great guy, great sportsman, right? He knows that the top 10 out of 11 makes playoffs, and I'm probably in the 11th seed. And so after he beats us, you know, teams typically break it down and say they need 1, 2, 3 Sanaa, 1, 2, 3 Mims or whatever. So we do ours 1, 2, 3 Mims. He gonna have his team yell as loud as they can. 1, 2, 3 playoffs.
Wait, Russell. That ain't what happened, man. That's not what happened. Let me explain.
I've learned not to believe either of you. I'll make up my own story.
But Russell, I got to explain, man, because it wasn't like that. See, what happened was afterwards we break it down. 1, 2, 3 Sanaa. My boys was like, 1, 2, 3 Sanaa. Y'all just won a big game, last game of the year. You go into the playoffs. Be excited. Let's go. 1, 2, 3 playoffs. That's what they did. He took it personal.
Yeah.
He took it personal.
Look, enough of his foolishness and his shenanigans. Before we let you go, is there anything you can impart on like today's youth, just as you see it? Because I know you watch a lot of games, you down there in the Valley, and for these Northern Arizona athletes, is there anything that you can impart on them to where they can work and be competitive and maybe end up having you write about them one day because of their success up this way?
If I was to tell today's Flagstaff athletes one thing they should be doing, stay home. I know that there's a desire to look for that Division I scout that's out there trying to get your eyes on them, and we've lost too many players going to Phoenix in pursuit of that Division I scholarship. One, it doesn't happen nearly as much as they think it does. It's I wouldn't say it's a gamble, but it's a risk that kids that are already in the system, that have been playing AAU ball, that have been playing with their same varsity team for 2 or 3 years, they've already got scouts looking at them. And I'm not saying that scouts won't look at them, but there's already a pecking order. So you're taking your chances if you do go down and try to get with a 6A school, and you think that's going to be your way in. It's just not. Your high school is always going to be part of your identity. That's I take FlagCoco personal because my family's been in Flagstaff since the 1940s. I know your families have been around probably as long or longer. But your high school experience is something that needs to be cherished. It shouldn't be seen as a business opportunity.
Right.
If you stick around your programs and you know your coaches and you develop within our community, you'll get eyes on you, and if you're hitting the weights and you're training like you should be doing, and you just put in the work, things will come to you.
Exactly.
If you're chasing these sort of things, it's a crapshoot. Maybe, I mean, we've seen. I'm not going to name any names, but you can name some of the athletes I'm talking about that chase this dream. And I'll never tell a kid, don't chase your dreams. You should always do it, but you can also do it when you already have a set community, and you got people like you two that really care about these kids, and you know that even the best athletes aren't going to go to college, that they need something to go to once they graduate, whether that's a job or community college. They don't need their heads filled with all the talk scouts put in their heads. It's great, and we get a few athletes once in a while that may be Division I, or they're going to get out of town and go to a good program. But you go from age 18 to 22 very quick. And if you just saw the sports and you didn't see the academics, then you went down the wrong rabbit hole. And there's probably somebody that's going to be mad at me for saying that, because at least they chased their dreams. But we're on this planet. Everyone says it's a short life. It's a long life. If you make, there's some, I wouldn't say mistakes that you can't correct, but this is the time when you should be expanding your options as much as you can. And if you just go for that one shot where you already know it's more than a million one shot to get to the NBA. If you're dead set on that and you haven't put anything else together, you put yourself in a hole. And I don't like seeing, especially our athletes, go through that. So I always recommend stay here. You may not get that D1. It might be a D2 or NAIA or community college, but you're still playing and you're working for that degree. That's my big advice about that.
Right.
I give Flagstaff kids is stay in Flagstaff.
Yeah, that's some great advice.
Yeah, I think that's great advice too, man. I mean, and it's been proven that you can get it done here coming out of Flagstaff. We have had D1S athletes come out of here. So, Russell, we've got to get you back because we didn't get through half the questions. We didn't get through half the show. So this is just part one of you, brother. This is just part one. So, Coach, you still there, man?
I'm still here.
All right.
Hey, and just real quick, as we alluded to earlier, the Flagstaff Hoops program, it was a great weekend for the whole program. We have girls teams at 5th, 6th grade, 7th, 8th, high school. We got boys that's 7th, 8th, and high school, and just a great weekend overall. We got kids that come from Winslow, Tuba City, Flag High, Coco. So it truly
MPA.
is. Yeah, MPA. It truly is just about Northern Arizona and just about working with the kids and developing their skills, making them better, and just pouring back into the athletes, period, irregardless of what schools they go to. And
this is our 20th anniversary.
That it is, Coach.
We've been going 20 years strong with Flagstaff Hoops, man, and a lot of athletes have went somewhere out of that. So we're proud of that, and I think, about that time.
Yeah, it is, Coach. We hope everybody have a great work day. You ain't got to go home,
but you got to leave here. Peace. Hey, keep smiling, Coach. Keep smiling.
Nah, see,